All right, with NFL Week 2 in the books, we're going to be doing predictions for Week 3 and previewing each game. So let's get into this. The first game is the Panthers Texans. I'm going with the Panthers in this game. The Panthers defense has been one of the best, if not the best, in football this year. Sam Darnold is clicking on all fronts with the Panthers this year on their offense, and Matt Rule is really helping him out. I think it was honestly the Jets that were holding him back, and the loss of Tyrod Taylor for the Texans right now isn't good, so I think the Panthers are going to win this game pretty convincingly. Next, we have the Chargers Chiefs. I mean, I'm going with the Chiefs, but with the Chiefs' defensive struggles, I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were the first couple of weeks because the Chargers throw the ball a little bit more than they run. Because the first two teams the Chiefs played, they like to run the ball a lot. So I don't think it's going to be as bad, but I mean, I still think Justin Herbert's going to play very well. And if they really had to, if they had to resort to the run game, I think, with Austin Eckler, it's going to be a good game for them running the football. I mean, but you have to remember the Chiefs still have Patrick Mahomes and that great offense. And so in reality, all the defense has to do is get one key stop, maybe in the third or fourth quarter that swings the game in the Chiefs' favor. So I'm going with the Chiefs in this one. Next, we have the Browns and Bears. I'm going with the Browns in this one. Jarvis Landry is out for this game, but they do get Odell back. And with Baker's arm injury, I'm not sure if it's on his throwing shoulder or if it's on his non-throwing shoulder. But I mean, even with that two-headed running attack that the Browns have, I think they're going to, have a good game running the football against the Bears. And if they have to throw the ball, I think the run game is going to help establish them to, run some play action and throw the ball. I mean, Justin Fields will start this game because of Andy Dalton's injury. However, as much as I want to see Justin Fields succeed, I don't think it's going to be enough to help the Bears win. So I'm going to have to go with the Browns in this one. Next, we have the Ravens and Lions. I'm going with the Ravens because, they have the best running attack in football, even if all three of the running backs are out. I mean, Tyson Williams had a good game week 1. Lamar Jackson had a great game against the Chiefs last week. The Ravens defense may not be as good as it was a few years ago or even last year, but I still think the Lions will put up a few points on the board, keep it close for a little bit. But in the end, I think the Ravens are just going to run away with this one and beat the Lions. Next, we have the Washington football team and the Buffalo Bills. I'm going with the Bills on this one, and I don't think the Bills' offensive struggles are going to continue. I think they've had a slow start offensively, at least throwing the ball. Josh Allen hasn't looked the best, but with their running game, it's starting to look a lot better. And, a good running game can help with the passing game. Their defense gave Miami fits all last week. And, I think Washington has a really good defense. And I think Taylor Heineke's good, but I think they caught the Bills at the worst time because the Bills are just starting to look a little bit better, look like they did last year. So I'm going to go with the Bills on this one. Next, we have the Cardinals Jaguars. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game running away. The Jags are not very good. Trevor Lawrence has struggled all year so far. I don't think he's the worst rookie quarterback. I think that goes to Zach Wilson. But Trevor Lawrence has struggled quite a bit. The Jags haven't really shown anything this year. The Cardinals have, some really good defensive players. Their offense, obviously with Kyler Murray, I think he'll have another great game, and I think he'll be an MVP frontrunner after this week. So I think the Cardinals will win this one. Next, we have the Colts Titans. I'm going with the Titans. After last week, the way that their offense finally started to click with all those weapons, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, I think that was the game that they really needed, especially in the second half with Derrick Henry just going off and, showing why he's King Henry. I just think the Colts, their offensive line's not very good. Carson Wentz is hurt, 2 sprained ankles. We don't even know if he's going to play as of right now as while I'm recording this. And, I don't see how the Colts can win this game, so I'm going with the Titans. Next, I have the Saints-Patriots game. I have the Patriots winning this one. The Patriots are going to give Jameis fits. Their defense is very solid. They gave the Jets fits last week. The Saints were bad last week against the Panthers. They couldn't get anything going. I really think Jameis Winston could be good, but I don't think Jameis Winston's the answer. So in the next couple of years, I think the Saints are going to be looking for a quarterback already. I know that it's really early in the season, but it wasn't pretty last week. And then the Patriots have kept it simple with Mac Jones. Make the plays that we need you to make. And then Damian Harris is just running his ass off. I think he's very good. And so, I mean, I'm going with the Patriots. Next, we have the Bengals Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers, but I don't know how confident I am in that pick. With Big Ben's injury, they're going to have to rely on Najee Harris to run the ball, which they haven't been able to do in 2 years. So I don't know how well that's going to go. I think Joe Burrow will have a pretty decent game. I don't know if TJ Watt's going to be playing, and even if he is, with him being hurt, it may hinder him just a little bit. So I think Joe Burrow is going to have a better game than he did last week. I think this game's going to be really close. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals won, but I think Mike Tomlin will have the Steelers ready, and I think the Steelers will win this game. Next, we have the Falcons Giants. I'm picking the Giants. I mean, there's really not much to say other than, Daniel Jones hasn't turned the ball over at all this season. He looked really good last week against Washington. And, they're playing a Falcons team whose defense can't really stop anything. And the Falcons rely way too much on Matt Ryan and that offense who, with how old Matt Ryan is, how one-dimensional he is, I don't see how the Falcons can pull this one out. So I'm going with the Giants. Next, we have the Jets Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos. Again, another rookie quarterback that's struggling, but I think is the worst rookie quarterback right now. The Jets are terrible. The Broncos defense, even with Bradley Chubb being out, I think is still going to be very good. I don't think it's going to hold him back very much. It's just once he comes back, that defense is going to be even better than it already is. Teddy Bridgewater has fit in nicely with the Broncos, doing everything they've asked of him, making all the right plays, not turning the ball over. So I'm going with the Broncos in this game. Next, we have the Dolphins Raiders. The Dolphins offense is bad, and Tua is out this week, so I don't really know how much that's actually going to affect them because they couldn't do anything with him. So, Jacoby Brissett might be able to do something, but, I don't think they're going to do much. Now, again, this is one of those games where I would not be surprised if the Dolphins won because the Raiders have looked amazing through the first couple of weeks. Their defense is solid, and the way that the Miami offense played last week, especially the offensive line, the Raiders might give them some troubles. But, Derek Carr for the Raiders has been good, but again, I don't know. This might be one of those games where you don't know. The Dolphins might shock everybody and win this game because the Raiders may be too high on their first couple wins of the season, which they beat some two good opponents in the Ravens and Steelers, but they don't want to get too high. But I'm picking the Raiders, but again, I would not be surprised if the Dolphins win. Next, we have the Buccaneers Rams. This is probably the game of the week. And this one's actually kind of hard to pick because I think both teams are very good. I think the front seven of the Buccaneers is very good. The defense of the Rams, obviously with Aaron Darnold, he's amazing. They have some really good linebackers, and then Jalen Ramsey. It's a tough game for me to pick. I'm going with the Rams and a very close game. The Rams aren't going to be able to run the ball, and I don't know how much the Buccaneers are going to be able to run the ball because both front sevens I think are really good. So, I'm going with the Rams, and I'm not confident in that pick either because I think the Buccaneers could easily win this game too. But I'm going with the Rams in a very tight battle. Next, we have the Seahawks-Vikings. I'm going with the Seahawks. I think quite a few points are going to be scored because each team's defense are able to be scored on fairly easy. Both offenses are pretty good. You have Dalvin Cook for the Vikings and then Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen for the Vikings. And then you have obviously Russ, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Each offense has some very good key players. And then I think, like I said, I think Russ is going to cook all over this defense of the Vikings. But at the end, I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks to win this game, dropping the Vikings to 0-3. Next, we have the Packers and 49ers. The Packers' defense is really bad, and that's not a good thing because the 49ers will be able to run the ball, and then with them running the ball, they're going to be able to do play action, get some nice passes to Kittle, Debo. The Packers' offense looked much better last week, so I think this game could be close, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers kind of just blew them out. And I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but would not be surprised. But I'm going to have to go with the 49ers, even though I think the Packers showed strides in that second half defensively to show that they can prevent the teams from scoring when they had to and make some key stops and key situations. And last, we have Monday Night Football. We have the Eagles-Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game. They looked very good the first couple weeks. They barely lost to the Buccaneers week 1, and then last week they beat the Chargers in a very weird game. I mean, the Chargers arguably could have beat themselves, or beat themselves. The refs beat them, but I mean, the Cowboys still pulled out the win. The Cowboys defense, I think, is a liability still this year, and I mean, we don't know much. I still don't know much about the Eagles because week 1 they played well, and then last week they, basically got stopped all game except for like 11 points to the 49ers. Jalen Hurts is very mobile, and that with a really bad defense, that might help out Jalen Hurts a little bit. But at the end of the day, I'm going with the Cowboys. And there's another thing I want to mention. I think I didn't realize how good Dak Prescott was. Because, heck, I mean, you saw how bad the Cowboys were last year, and you've seen Dak these first 2 weeks. Me, personally, I took Dak for granted about how good he was. And so I think, he's going to have a big game, primetime game, Monday Night Football. And, I mean, they also have a good two-headed running attack. I mean, Tony Pollard, honestly, I think is better than Zeke. Not by much, because, I mean, Zeke is a very good pass-blocking running back. He was going to protect Dak. But at the end of the day, I think the Cowboys are going to pull this out and win on Monday Night Football.